Hello, welcome back. As you saw, I just came back from a little walk in a nearby forest preserve by the lake, and I love going there. It's called Fort Sheridan, and it's a lovely walking area. So I was really inspired to paint. I did do some painting on location. I didn't really love what I painted that day, but that's okay, that happens. So instead I wanted to sit down and paint this scene of some trees overlooking a pond. And I love this pond. It's like a real scummy pond, and it has the reflections of the trees and the sky, so there's a lot of good contrast happening in there. I started by using a water-soluble graphite pencil, which I'm kind of still unsure if that's the best move because, as you can see, once I start putting my underlayer down, it kind of smushes it. But that's fine. I often start farthest to closest, so that would be the sky, and now I'm just going in with these distant trees in their shadow color, and once that dries I will put a little bit of a lighter color over top. So not a lot of contrast here. I mean, that color will dry a bit darker even. And then I wanted to get some of these, I think it's red clover right now. Sometimes it's the thistle that is purple. I didn't see any while we were out there, so I think what I'm seeing a lot of is the red clover. Then it's time for my trees. They are sort of a focal point, although I think the true focal point is going to be in the lake, or in the pond, I should say. So I'm just getting my shadows in, and I'm going over top with something just a little bit brighter. I'm trying not to make these a huge contrast, but just enough. When I'm out on location, I sometimes use pre-made greens just for convenience, but when I'm at home and I'm using my fresh gouache, I definitely prefer to mix my own greens. This type of tree was always a big struggle for me when I first started painting because these are often referred to like the broccoli tree or the lollipop tree, and I really struggled to paint them in a way that didn't look like that, but I think I'm getting there. To paint the fields, I'm just layering a lot of greens on top of each other, lighter greens, darker greens. I want to show that it has some hills and then this red clover, so I'm getting some of that purpley color in. And as you know, I love to add purple wherever I can in my fields. So this pond I love, it's really scummy. It has a bunch of stuff growing on it, and the reflections were quite dark compared to the trees, I thought. So I'm getting my darkest dark and my sky reflections. And something I love about gouache is the fact that it reactivates when you go on top of another layer, and so I love how it does that in this scummy pond scene. So I sort of lost my drawing here, so I'm just kind of going back in, putting down the edge where there would be a shadow of the lake. It's a bit dark here, but it's gonna get covered up a lot as I go on, so that's okay. I think some of the best way to get that kind of scumminess on the pond is using this dry brush texture. So I just have some paint, very little water, and the surface under is completely dry. From there, it's just a bit of a back and forth on lighter greens and some scrubby textures to imitate the shrubbery and all the plants. I think in a scene like this, you can take a lot of liberties. So to get these foreground wildflowers, I'm starting with a really dark background so that all of the other colors can stand out really well. I really want to take some time and paint specific wildflowers and do a lot of scenes with all of the footage that I took while I was there, or go back even and paint some scenes on location. But for this scene, I don't actually want the wildflowers to be the focal point, so I'm just using this really like scrubby brush to show them. And there weren't even really that many flowers in this scene. It was more like tall grasses and big leafy plants. So yeah, just using the rigger brush, and honestly, like, I'm just kind of going at it. I'm not really trying to paint anything specific that I see. I'm just sort of making it up and doing kind of like random strokes and little lines and big lines and scribbly lines and straight lines, but going in kind of random directions. I'm sort of taking some liberties in the colors that I see as well, because I just love to vary the colors that I'm seeing in such a green landscape. But yeah, I think painting loose is really fun and definitely my preference for style. I think the key is to just sort of try and get what you see done in as few brush strokes as possible. Don't worry about painting every little leaf or every little straw. Just kind of scrub. Maybe one big brush stroke can stand in place for a lot of little details. Okay, so the peel of the tape, so satisfying, but we're not done here. While in Southwest Michigan, we went antiquing and I thrifted some frames, which is something I love to do. And then I repurposed them for my own art. Be sure to always clean the glass. I also gave the frame itself just a little wipe down with a very slightly damp paper towel. If you're curious, I used the Fabriano 100% watercolor paper block for this, the one that is cold press. But I love to thrift frames, build frames. I do have a video on one of the easy ways that I like to build frames. If this is something you want to see more of, let me know. I do have a kind of a big frame build project video coming up. I have a tool coming that will let me push these in a bit better, so just for now I'm going to tape them lightly. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to some more wildflower painting, some frame building, and subscribe if you want to see more of that. Thanks. Bye.